Hey, welcome back, sir. Good to see you.
Good to see you. It's been a while.
Oh my God, 6 weeks, maybe more.
The world fell apart in LA during that time.
Fire.
So much.
That's pretty nuts what happened with the fire stuff.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I've been here for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Never seen anything like that fire stuff
Never.
before.
Okay.
But it was one of those experiences where it kind of was like it affected like real people eventually. I think when you first hear about these fires, you're like, rich billionaires are losing mansions.
Right.
And you're like, that's a shame.
Yeah.
They'll have to buy another $1 billion mansion.
Yeah.
But then it was like, Toluca Lake.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, that's like, I got people in some
I know
of these
there.
places where
Yeah.
the fire was.
I know these people.
You actually were near the fire.
I was near, so Palisades broke out. I was, the weekend before, I painted South Pasadena High School and was in Alhambra, like Pasadena, tooling around, doing stuff for like a couple of days. So I got to know the area, picked up some new vans, the whole thing. And then Palisades happened. Then that happened. Then, we were like, should we investigate? We would go down to Calabasas. We're up north, so we would go down like 2 miles. I wanted to see the fire.
Sure.
And like, how fast does it move? Because I've only been here a year.
Right.
And I've only seen one like up close. Yeah. And then Kenneth
That's
Fire.
a good one.
Yeah. And then Kenneth Fire happened.
That's crazy.
I almost got divorced. Wow. Because I was like, I knew it was in the valley. I don't want to bore people, but it was like, I feel like maybe 7 or 8 miles from us or something. And I was out driving around, and I was like, I'm going to go down the street. Traffic started to get apocalyptic. It started to get scary. I went up on top of this mountain. There's a YMCA, beautiful, whatever. And people, all the locals were going up top to watch it.
Yep.
It was one valley from us. And I could see, I could see it. It was coming. And you're watching it come toward I was like, oh my God, this is coming. Yeah. And I called my wife and she was like, get in the car and get back here.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to see it. I want to see it.
Yeah, you're like one of those people like dies in the volcano. Like,
I was. But it wasn't but it
won't
wasn't
hit me.
like looky-loo stuff. I suppose it sort of is, but I'm like, I want to lay eyes on it.
Sure.
But there was an idiot up there with me who was arguing with his wife, and I could hear him sound like the same thing I was saying. And I was like,
calm down.
Yeah, he was.
It's just fire.
He was like, I got to lay eyes on it, babe. I was like, kill yourself. And then I was like, I'm doing that. I'm that guy.
You're doing it.
And I was like, I got to get out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I smelt it. That's the thing. Like, I'm in downtown, so we don't really get like actual fire. If the fire would have hit me, Los Angeles would have actually burned. Because I'm in the city proper.
Well, it hit Sunset Boulevard.
But tell you, hit Sunset, which is the street I'm on, just down further.
Yeah.
And you could smell it. I was walking like from my car to a building, and I got ash in my eye.
Yeah.
I had to, like, cover my eyes.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this is like real.
It's real.
This is like interstellar.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I remember texting you, I think maybe that morning on the Sunset or something like that, because it was 2 blocks from the Comedy Store. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no.
Nah.
Tell me I'm moving here and it just burns?
It's protected.
Well, the wind died down, and they crushed that one.
Yeah.
And I don't even think...
I mean, that's the thing. There's one thing that is kind of benefit for the comedy now that it's dying down a bit.
Yeah.
Is that there's some great comedy shows
Huge.
that benefit the LA Fires. Like the Bill Burr, Shane Gillis one sounds incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh man, this is a great time. If you have a show, if you want to put together a show, just give the money to the LA Fire Department. You probably get a huge crowd.
Oh, I kept seeing all the little, they were like little elves, all the comedy guys peeking out, and they were like, I know I'm not supposed to talk about this show yet, but like, if you guys want to come out, because there was that creeping back out where they're like, I feel weird about promoting this, but but just say you're giving all the money away.
Yeah, and also there's a benefit to where I think, like, I had a lot of friends who produce shows, and they were able to get bigger comedians because they said, it's for LA Fire.
Yeah.
So they're like, I'll do your show.
Yeah.
And like Ice House was like producing shows from people who they normally wouldn't produce in the other places. So it was kind of cool. It did give a little bit of a booster to the comedy world. I unfortunately have not done any comedy since before Christmas. I think I did a show on December 18th, and that show went so bad that it like, I don't want to say I thought about quitting.
Okay.
Quitting, I think, is kind of out of the game at this point. But it was one of those this is the break for the holiday.
Okay.
It was December 18th. And I was at the club. So many hilarious things. First off, nobody showed up.
Okay, sure.
Second off, the place had like strobe lights and like these like no, like almost like a dance club, like where these shapes fly across like
while you're playing
flying in the whole venue.
Okay.
Right? One of the comedians is epileptic.
No.
And so she had to do her set like, oh man, dating's hard, because she could have died. Club is trying to kill her.
Yeah.
Then the sound goes out.
Yeah.
So now there's no microphone.
Yes.
So now, and we had, let me tell you, killer fucking funny comedians.
Yeah.
Cat Alvarado, Martin Monroe, just like hilarious. Melanie Silva, like really good, funny LA up and coming comics. They all stayed. They all did the show with no mic.
Oh, it's like theater then.
All crushed.
Yeah.
And we were then afterwards, we like sat in that room and would just look at each other like, man, it's gonna get better.
Yeah.
And it was one of these bonding moments.
Yeah.
Because that part, like a camaraderie over a bad show. I'm sure this is like the bond people form in war.
Of course.
But it was just such a tough experience, man. It was tough.
Yeah.
And then I go home and I was like, man, I think I need a break. And then I was like thinking like, oh man, I want to write some new stuff and trying to get into that. But I think like that experience kind of took me into this. And just let it come to you. Don't try to push anything. So from December 18th on, I haven't done any comedy.
You didn't chase.
Didn't chase anything.
Got
Have
it.
you done any cool shows?
I did a couple of shows right before Christmas. I did a couple of them. And then I did, let's see, did I do one after? Yes. And then I went to Kookaburra Lounge after I had been passed there. Nice. Just went back for the open mic and was like, I'm going to get back in and see what's up. And then I talked to the owner and she was like, you don't need to be at this. And I was like, great. That's amazing. Hey. But that show, I was trying to figure this out. I'm sitting there, there's 30 of us, and I mean, maybe easily the best show I've seen since I've been in LA, stacked with comics. So you probably knew half them. The only guy I knew was maybe Edelman or something, right? And he went up first, God bless him. Worst set of the night, to go up first. But solid comics, a lot of really solid comics. And I was trying to figure out how they got that, because the last time I'd gone, I was like, what's up? And then I figured out.
I want to make sure we're all good. We are.
We good? I figured out, it's because they're now passing people as paid regulars. So everybody in town was like, oh, okay. We're putting money in there? All right.
Put money.
And I mean, 10 of the 30 showed up, and I was like, these 10 are the top 10. I think they're the best. I don't know about the top 10, but they're in the.
They're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Have
it was
you done
solid.
A proper show at the Kookaburra?
I have. Yeah, I did a couple.
Nice.
After I got up and went originally, they had me back for a couple of shows.
Terrific. Man.
Yeah.
How's the audience? How's the vibe?
It was really good. I think it's a big club, and I think it takes some people to pack it out. Right. I haven't seen it packed out. I know they've packed it out. They had Nikki Glazer was there a bunch doing her Golden Globe.
She'll do it.
Stuff. Yeah. So she was packing it out. I know they're getting. Brad Williams was there doing a fire show.
Nice.
I think maybe 2 nights ago or something. Nice. And the owner is obviously well connected.
Yeah.
And getting a lot of people. So
it's weird because it's like shows like that. It's speaking of big venue. It's funny because I just thought about it that I say I haven't done a show since December 18th, but I actually did one show.
Yeah.
Recently, like last week,
right.
Which I'm remembering now, and I think the big room reminded me of it. I got called, and this is not having done comedy in like 6-7 weeks. I got called to do a show by my agent, and he was like, hey, can you do a show in Huntington Beach on a Friday?
Yeah.
And it's for like military veterans or something like that.
Right.
And their families. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I went to the show, and I thought it was going to be, first off, when I'm pulling up, I pull up and it's like an arena. It's like a huge fucking building.
Yeah.
Right? And so I call him. I'm like, hey, man, I'm at this place, but it's like a big fucking building, man. He's like, yeah, dude, your parking spot has an orange cone in it. When security gets there, show them your ID. They'll move it for you, and then they'll show you to your green room.
Sweet.
Curious.
Yeah.
But one of the things I kind of liked about it was, in my mind, he's like, can you do 20 minutes?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I mean, I'll do it, but it's like, I'm kind of worried, like, in general, of Russ.
Sure.
Then I show up to this place, 350 people.
Yes.
Probably the biggest show I've ever done.
No kidding.
Probably.
Yeah.
Show up there. Show went great.
Yeah.
Very grateful. People laughed at all the old jokes I remembered.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was interesting about it was this, like, I haven't done a big show in a while.
Yeah.
And just the crowd and the energy, it was such a different experience. The guy before me, God bless him, was up there dying on the vine, unfortunately. Yeah. And, you know, a lot of so what else. Just inside baseball.
Sure.
If a comic starts to say so what else.
Yeah.
That's usually.
Yeah.
They're hitting
That's the end of their 10.
Yeah.
Or whatever they got.
One of my favorite tweets when a comic is 2 minutes into a 10-minute set and they go, so what else?
So what else? What else is in the news?
So the guy comes off and I was like, dude, you did the Lord's work.
Yeah.
And he went, man, fuck that shit. And you're like, oh, I'm done.
Right.
And so then this girl goes up who's the host. She does like 3 minutes. And she's kind of dying on the vine.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of this is going to work. But in my mind, I'm like, this shit is for old people.
Right.
Like, the jokes I tell are like, not like dating's hard. Like, the jokes I tell are like, you know, about your family. And about something I think everybody can relate to.
Yeah.
So I get up there and I'm doing so good.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
So I have a joke where I go, I want a monogamous relationship. For those who don't know, monogamy is when you only sleep with one person without a condom. Joke.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no.
And the fucking producer from the side of the stage goes, wah, wah.
Oh.
I was like, bro,
what?
I am saving your fucking show right now. And you're going to wah-wah me from the side. And I was like, thanks, stewardess. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's special. There's meaning. I want to go. Stewardess?
I did a real rewarding. I totally forgot about this. I guess because I don't think of it as a show. But my son's elementary school did a talent show. Right? And talent shows are the worst. I mean, they're the worst.
Could be, yeah.
And they're bad good. You know, they're just, a kid's going to play a trumpet. It's going to be like, Fern, and that makes me laugh so much. I love it so much. The sound of a kid playing a trumpet makes me laugh. So my son was like, no coaxing at all because I don't care at all. He's my fourth kid. Whatever he wants to do is fine with me. And he's like, I want to do stand-up. And I was like, okay, buddy. So we write like 2 minutes. He gets 2 minutes of jokes. And only one of them did. And he would tell me funny things on the way to school. And I'd be like, oh, that's funny. Let's write that into a thing. Very dark. His material was all very dark. He had one joke that mom wanted us to do that we rewrote that was a Mitch Hedberg joke. And that was for mom. That's her favorite comedian. So we're like, we'll toss it in.
Do you have it on tap? Can you bust it out?
I'm trying to remember what he said. I don't have a mom. The joke, the Mitch Hedberg joke is I don't have a girlfriend, but I know a girl that would be really mad if she heard me say that. That's the joke. So my son said, I don't have a mom, but I know a lady who'd be really mad if I said that. That was his little dark joke. But he would say things like, I think the darkest joke he had, the one we're most proud of that he completely wrote was, why did my grandfather cross the road? And then he said, because this is America and he does what he wants. Hey! And then he goes, USA. And then he goes, boomers. Like that's the end of his joke. And it was sort of dark, you know, and people loved it. You could hear parents in the back.
Why did the grandpa cross the road? Because this is America and he does what he wants. USA! USA! USA!
Anyways, the nice thing about it was, so I hosted, and I've done enough of those things from church and that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to work minutes. I don't give a shit.
Sure.
You know, I'm just trying to move it fast, get people out of here. But something started to happen where, they're dragging because they're not getting stuff on stage fast enough, and Susie can't get her piano off or whatever. And I'm stuck with how do I do whatever. And I was like, I can't let it die. So I just went out and did crowd work. Anybody else done a talent show? What'd you do? This lady was like, I did Ice Ice Baby from the 80s. That started crushing just because the audience was good. Right. They were like, please just give us something. This is so bad. And then I started talking to kids backstage while people could just hear us and there was nobody on stage. And I'd be like, are you nervous? And the little kid was like, yeah. He didn't know I had the mic on.
That's so funny.
And so afterwards, like, it was so nice and uplifting.
You might get a job.
Yeah. Because people were coming up to me after, they were like, best talent show ever. Can you do ours? And I was like, oh, God.
Nice, dude.
So that was fun that it was like, I felt good that I was like, oh, I knew to not. It's first of all, it doesn't have anything to do with me. You're just the vehicle. Move this fucker along and don't swear.
But that's really cool. Like just this, I think having those constraints gives you a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Your judge is a little higher.
Yeah, it was easier. Yeah. It reminded me of church as a kid. There's so many things you can't say that it's easy. Just jump in the gray area for a second and talk about the principal being whatever.
Yeah.
And it was great. So that was super fun.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
That is so cute.
It was fun. And my son did great. And then he totally had the thing after where he was like, I don't think I did very well. And I was like, oh, he's got the disease.
I don't feel that.
Oh,
wait till you have to pay bills before you feel
I
that.
wanted him to just be, I think it's because he wanted that, like, I'm going to hug you, you did great. And I wanted to let him know, like, right off the bat, no, you can say I did a good job and still get a hug from me. Yeah. It doesn't have to be, because some people are, feel like they need to be in the doldrums to get a hug. And I'm like, you don't need to do that. You did really excellent. And he was like, yeah, but I wasn't as funny as you. And I was like, ridiculous. That's
so great, though.
I wasn't doing comedy. It doesn't have anything to do with it. And also, he did do really, really well. He got laughs every time. He was telling dark jokes. Of course he would. I put him up to all the gray area stuff that parents would be like.
Lesson, though, man.
Yeah.
That's such a good parenting.
Good
parenting, bro.
That's because I've screwed up so many times. By the time I got to the fourth one, that's all that is. It's just ask my older daughter. She'd be like, yeah, thanks a lot. You didn't tell me that when I was 8. Yeah, I ate all that shit.
Thank you so much for enjoying the Getting Up podcast. Please like, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.